My name is Ophelia Rose. I am 26 years old, and I live in a small, quiet town with my husband, Cody. He is 31, calm, gentle, and kind. People often say that I am lucky. They see our pretty house with flowers by the door, the warm light that fills our windows at night, and they imagine a happy marriage. They see what looks like a perfect life. I work at a small company in town, and Cody has a stable job that he loves. On weekends, we go for walks in the park or sit by the river drinking coffee. To others, it all looks peaceful, simple, and full of love. But inside, my heart feels heavy every single day. 1 year ago, I made a mistake that changed everything. I married a man I did not love. I did it out of anger and pride, trying to prove that I had moved on from the man who broke my heart. I thought I was strong, but instead, I trapped myself in a life that doesn't feel real. Cody loves me deeply, but I can't return his love. Each smile, each kind word, reminds me of my lie. My world looks perfect from the outside, yet every day I wonder, what happens to a woman who marries without love? Each morning begins the same way. I wake up before sunrise, open the curtains, and listen to the sound of birds outside. Cody is already in the kitchen, making breakfast. He greets me with a warm smile and a gentle, "Good morning, my love." I smile back, but it feels like a mask I wear every day. After breakfast, I walk to work through the quiet streets of our town. At the office, I keep myself busy, handling papers, answering calls, pretending everything is fine. My colleagues admire my life. They say, "Ophelia, you are so lucky to have a husband like Cody." I nod and smile, though their words sting a little. When evening comes, Cody picks me up. He always tries to make me laugh, tells me stories from his day, or surprises me with a small bouquet of flowers. Sometimes he cooks my favorite meal and says softly, "You are my everything." I look at him, wanting to feel the same, but all I feel is emptiness. He deserves love, real love, but my heart stays quiet. Our home is filled with kindness, yet loneliness hides in every corner. The peace people see is only a picture. Behind it, I am slowly disappearing. As months passed, the quiet space between Cody and me grew wider. At first, he didn't say anything, but I could see the sadness in his eyes. He would try to kiss me goodnight, and I would turn away, pretending to be tired. One evening, after dinner, he looked at me for a long time before speaking. His voice was soft but heavy. "Ophelia, I know you don't love me yet," he said. "But I believe you will one day. My love is strong enough for both of us." I sat still, unable to meet his eyes. His hope was painful. It felt like a mirror reflecting everything I wasn't able to give. I wanted to tell him that love doesn't grow out of guilt, but I couldn't. I simply nodded and smiled weakly, and that smile broke both our hearts a little more. My best friend, Evangeline, noticed the change in me. She saw how I avoided talking about Cody, how my laughter sounded forced. One afternoon she said, "Ophelia, maybe you need some time apart. Go away for a few weeks. Clear your mind." But I shook my head. "It's not time I need," I told her. "It's a heart that doesn't exist." Cody tried to fix what was breaking. One night, he suggested something that froze me in place. Maybe we should have a baby, he said with a hopeful smile. It might bring us closer. My breath caught. The idea of having a child with a man I didn't love felt terrifying. I forced the words out, "No, Cody. I'm not ready." His face fell, the light in his eyes fading slowly. He didn't argue, but the silence that followed was louder than any fight. At work, I became distracted. I made small mistakes, lost focus, and often found myself staring blankly at my computer screen. My colleagues thought I was tired, but the truth was deeper. I was drowning in confusion. Every morning, I asked myself the same question: if I left, would that make me selfish or honest? Each night, as I lay next to Cody, the guilt pressed heavier on my chest. He deserved love, yet all I could offer was pity. One night, while he slept peacefully beside me, I realized the truth that changed everything. This marriage wasn't built on love, it was built on guilt, on fear, and on my desperate attempt to run from the past. And no matter how kind Cody was, no love could grow in the shadow of a lie. The days turned into weeks, and I felt myself living two different lives. During the day, I tried to be the wife everyone expected me to be. I smiled when people asked about Cody, I cooked dinner, I laughed at his jokes, but none of it felt real. At night, when the world was quiet, I would lie awake and listen to Cody's soft breathing beside me. He looked peaceful in his sleep, so calm, so certain that our love was something strong and lasting. I would watch him for a long time and feel like a stranger in my own home. How long could I pretend? How long could I live a life that didn't belong to me? I admired Cody for his kindness. He never shouted, never blamed me, even though I could see the pain in his eyes. He believed that patience would heal us. But I knew the truth that he refused to see: love cannot be forced into existence. Each day I stayed, I felt myself disappearing, losing small pieces of who I once was. I missed the sound of my own laughter, the feeling of excitement, the sense of being alive. One night, the weight of it all became too much. I walked into our bedroom, opened the closet, and quietly began packing a small bag. My hands were shaking as I folded my clothes. My heart raced, terrified but determined. I told myself, this is the only way to save both of us. But when I turned around, I saw Cody sleeping soundly, his hand resting gently on my side of the bed. He looked so innocent, so full of trust. My chest tightened. I sat down and began to cry silently. The guilt felt unbearable, pressing against my ribs like a stone. How could I leave someone who had done nothing but love me? Yet how could I stay and continue to lie? The next morning, I didn't leave. Instead, I walked into the kitchen and found Cody making coffee, just as he did every day. He smiled and said softly, "I believe in us. We can make this work." His words broke me in a way anger never could. I realized then that love built on hope alone is still a kind of cage. My heart whispered the truth I had avoided for so long. I must leave before I destroy us both. That evening, the house was quiet. The clock on the wall ticked softly, and the smell of coffee filled the air. I sat across from Cody at the kitchen table, my hands trembling as I held the cup. He looked tired, older than his years, his eyes filled with questions he no longer dared to ask. I took a slow breath and said, "Cody, There's something I need to tell you. He looked up, waiting, his expression calm but uncertain. My voice shook as I continued, "You deserve a woman who loves you, Cody." "I'm not that woman." For a long moment, he didn't speak. The silence stretched between us like an ocean. Then his eyes filled with tears. He nodded slowly and whispered, "I always knew. I just hoped one day you'd love me back." His words broke something inside me. I wanted to say I was sorry, but the word felt too small for the pain between us. He stood up, walked to the window, and said softly, "I hope you find what you're looking for." That night, I packed my things. There was no shouting, no anger, only quiet acceptance. As I closed the door behind me, I felt the cool night air on my face. I walked to the train station with a small bag and a heart that felt both heavy and light. The sky was pale, the town still asleep. I didn't cry. I just breathed, deeply and freely. For the first time in years, I felt peace, not happiness, but peace. I finally understood that freedom born from truth, even when painful, is the only kind that lasts. Now I understand that marrying without love is like building a house without a foundation. It may stand for a while, but eventually, it begins to crack. No matter how carefully you decorate it, no matter how much effort you put in, the emptiness inside will always show. For a long time, I thought patience would create love, that kindness and habit could replace passion and truth. But love cannot be forced. It grows naturally or not at all. Sometimes, love means letting go, not to hurt someone, but to save yourself from a life of pretending. Staying in a place where your heart cannot breathe is not kindness, it is slow destruction. Cody taught me what genuine love looks like, gentle, patient, and full of hope. But I have learned that even the kindest love cannot survive if it is only one-sided. To anyone listening who feels trapped by fear, guilt, or duty, I want to tell you this: be honest with your heart. Don't wait for love to appear where it doesn't live. Real love doesn't grow from guilt, it grows from truth. Choosing honesty is not selfish, it is the first step toward peace. And peace, I've learned, is sometimes the quietest, truest form of happiness. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for learning English through stories with us, and stay tuned for more inspiring lessons.